It is time now to welcome Dr. Sharon Brown. She is the president of Malku Institute of Technology in Sunrise, Florida. Dr. Brown will speak on freedom for civil society, and she will be giving a case study in private education initiative. Dr. Brown, welcome to the floor. It's over to you.
Thank you, Professor. It's good to be here. It's good to hear what everybody's contributing. It's a very volatile time, and we need as much guidance as we can, especially in this matter of public policy. You know, as president of Malku Institute of Technology, Malku is a civil society organization, and it provides agricultural training for smallholder farmers in rural communities in Ghana and Uganda. Today, we're going to look at how important it is for CSOs to be free to provide services as we work to alleviate poverty. We look at what Malku is doing and the need for government policies that will create sustainable food systems post-COVID-19. CSOs are often subject to government control. Many countries have introduced legislation that interrupts, in an increasing number of cases, stops the funding of these organizations and interferes with their independence and programming. Governments have interfered with the work of these organizations by subjecting them to over-bureaucratic registration and reporting measures, limiting or outlawing funding from international NGOs, state officials interfering in how these organizations are run, banning the organizations from politically sensitive work, which is debatable what that means. We have seen the importance of functioning CSOs in the developing world. Recently, we have observed the important role that CSOs played during the Ebola outbreaks and the important role they're now playing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet, despite their benefit to society, these organizations are restricted in almost every country where aid agencies operate. Malku is working in Ghana and Uganda to decrease food insecurity by utilizing public-private partnerships to provide non-traditional education in rural communities. In 2017, Malku and Makerere University's Africa Institute for Strategic Resource Services and Development, AFRISA, signed a MOU to provide agricultural training to rural communities in Africa. Together, we designed and implemented the Household Economic Empowerment Project. We have called it HEAP. HEAP trains farmers in rural communities, teaching them to establish agribusinesses. The goal of this program is to improve household income and food security in these communities by investing in human capital. The program has 4 phases of intervention. Phase 1 is mobilization. Phase 2 is knowledge transfer. This is a 14-day residential training. We move into the community to carry out the training where the participants live. We set up tents to facilitate the training and to house the trainers. Phase 3 covers 9 months of enterprise establishment and nurturing, and Phase 4 is assessment. HEAP was implemented in Kajua, a village in central Uganda, in March of 2019. In this village, more than 70% of the population lived on less than $1.90 a day. 133 residents from Kajua and the surrounding villages participated in the training. Each participant was assigned to one of 3 value chains that had been chosen by the villagers. So here we see the integrated bee production. The beehives that you see are made from locally available material. Then we have integrated poultry production. Participants are taught how to grow their businesses from 10 chickens to 200 chickens in less than 2 months. Next slide. Then we have integrated pig production. The pigs here are a particular breed. They grow very quickly and they can go to market in less than 6 months. They're drinking clean water. They're living in a clean, odor-free environment. And this program utilizes hands-on training techniques. The participants are learning how to build a compost heap, and after 21 days, they will have organic manure for their crops. Previously, this village produced only maize. They were unable to afford fertilizers. They were getting yields of 400 to 500 kilograms per hectare. With compost manure, the yield can increase to more than 2.5 tons per hectare. In addition to learning about animals, all the participants are taught crop production, household hygiene, sound health practices, financial management, how to create a business plan and an operational plan. Once the participants complete the residential program, they spend the following 9 months implementing their business and operational plans. And during this time, they receive site visits and nurturing from their coaches. Each participant is now a trainer, and they're required to train 10 others before they're allowed to graduate. As we prepare for the post-COVID-19 pandemic challenges facing the countries where we work, Malku will be focused on using our collaborative efforts to create sustainable food systems. Partnerships between governments and private sector organizations play an important role in achieving sustainable food production. Malku has access to networks of trained farmers who can be mobilized to produce much needed food. We can access thousands of acres of arable land. What we need are agribusinesses partners. To achieve sustainable food production, there needs to be a transfer of technology and information to would-be farmers through educational outreach. So what is the current situation in sub-Saharan Africa? Well, the IMF June 2020 Regional Economic Outlook Report states that sub-Saharan Africa is the world's most food insecure region. The report further states that nearly 650 to 670 million people in Africa are facing food insecurity. And of this number, 250 million are classified as severely food insecure. Now, these figures were before the COVID-19 pandemic. The FAO defines severe food insecurity as a state where people have likely run out of food, experience hunger, and at the most extreme, gone for days without eating, putting their health and well-being at grave risk. Worldwide, food insecurity has risen during the COVID-19 pandemic.
2 minutes left.
During a May 7, 2020 United Nations presentation on the updated COVID-19 Global Humanitarian Response Plan, the Executive Director of the World Food Programme, Mr. David Beasley, stated that if the global supply chain breaks down, the impact will be catastrophic. He says that if it does, the health pandemic will soon be followed by a hunger pandemic. His call to action, which we echo, is that we can avert famine if we act now. The need is urgent. We urgently need to safeguard food security and ensure that agricultural production is sustained. Government policies, next slide please. Government policies that support the transformation of existing food systems will be crucial post-COVID-19. Policymakers need to respond quickly with measures directed at restoring the economy and preventing food shortages. They also need to remain focused on the long-term need to obtain food security by strengthening food systems. We have the capability to prevent the unnecessary deaths of millions of people through targeted investments in the people who live in food insecure communities. The challenge we're facing is how to rapidly create sustainable food systems before our food supply is severely impacted. Most countries have the resources to build these systems, and they can do it with collaboration between governments, non-governmental agencies, both local and international, and farmers. The goal is to build resilient, sustainable, and self-sufficient food production and distribution systems in all nations. Thank you.